Biashara Tuesday is live on air, coming to you from KUTV Kenya. This is KUTV Rise Today, your best morning breakfast television show. And if you're tuning in, please do let us know where you're watching us from on the social platforms at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. We're also streaming live on our YouTube, that is KUTV Kenya Live. Head on there, leave a comment, and let us know who else you'd like to tune in to the show. In this show, we break down matters of business, the economy, and also have a discussion around politics, because that definitely does influence the direction of business. On the international front, we'll be taking a look at the latest development in that Israeli-Hamas war currently happening over in the Gaza region. Mainly, it is now expected that Israel is preparing ground incursions, or what they are calling deadly attacks, to ensure that they will be eradicating all the Hamas group members, and that is something that is expected to happen over the coming few weeks. The United States says now at this point it is not a time for ceasefire, and they are supporting fully whatever Israel has planned against this group, which is now housed over in Palestine. A couple of countries and actors from the Middle East are expected to be drawn into this conflict, which is boiling up to be a regional crisis. How will this hit Kenya, or how will this affect us here in terms of business and also the economy? That's the relevant conversation we're having on Biashara Tuesday. I want you to know that the Middle East is one of our biggest markets in terms of food and animal products. Last year, around 6 billion Kenyan shillings is the amount of exports that Israel did to Kenya. They also did importation of up to 1 billion Kenyan shillings. So this is an amount that is at stake in the larger region of the Middle East. In 2022, we traded with them around 84 billion Kenyan shillings. If this war escalates, of course, the currency market, the foreign exchange market, the trade balance between Kenya and the Middle East will be affected, and this will be skewed highly against Kenya. What can we do as a country to prepare for this? One other thing that's going to happen as a result of this war, of course, is the effect on the pump prices. The Middle East is one of the regions, of course, where the largest import of oil comes from. Already, the effect is being felt on crude oil prices by a jump of more than 10%. Last week, Kenya adjusted the prices of fuel at the pump, petrol going up by more than 5 shillings and diesel by more than 4 shillings as well. In the coming few days, we're expecting this to also go up, as these crude oil prices are expected to skyrocket, as already happened in the past few weeks, 10% by now, and of course more to come in the few days. In Kenya, EPRA is also planning for a new tax on fuel, which is road maintenance levy. This is already collected at the pump at 18 Kenyan shillings per litre. But now they're expecting to adjust this upwards, and if this passes, more taxes and more pain for Kenyans on the pay slip. Something else you can expect on your pay slip at the end of this month, or as the beginning of next month, November, is the new bid by President William Ruto to enable affordable healthcare to every single Kenyan. 2.7%, 2.75% actually, is what is going to be the contribution on your gross income towards that universal health coverage. This is the new healthcare provision that is going to take over from the National Health Insurance Fund. It's going to enable community health workers to take care of all Kenyans all the way to the grassroots levels, getting all your medical care right at your doorstep. But we are going to do a payslip simulator here on the show later on, as we discuss the new changes in terms of this Medicare bill, which is being termed as Ruto Care, a moniker that not many Kenyans are happy about, but that you can expect if you are an employed Kenyan in this republic. Your payslip is about to suffer in the next few days. KRA is concerned that business owners are moving away from pay bills and till numbers to avoid the keen eye of the tax collector, who said they will be putting measures to ensure they are tracking all transactions that merchants are doing on that Safaricom merchant platform. So pay bill numbers, till numbers were going to be under scrutiny by KRA, but most businesses are now moving away from that into cash. KRA is worried that these are going to be tax cheat, but they're now going to be working with Safaricom to ensure that they are taking care of these businesses, which will be routing or taking a new path in terms of transactions between their consumers and their businesses. So away from till numbers and business pay bill numbers to cash That's expected to affect Safaricom's business, and we'll be looking at their shareholder or their share capital, NSE, as of last week, and of course the development into this week. Someone else who's gaining big in NSE is, surprisingly or not, the East African Portland, or the East African Cement Company, which is now, of course, enrolled in that, of course, issue of land in Mavoko over in Athi River. We'll be taking a look at NSC and the share in this best performance as of last week, and where you can invest as well in the next few weeks. The market might be going south, or developments might be going south, but it's good to keep a keen eye on where you can put your few coins and get, of course, relief in these tough economic times. This is just a few of those things we'll be highlighting here on Biashara Tuesday. I'll be sitting down on the newspaper review section later to take a look at the various developments, including the weakening of the shilling, which is now going to breach that 160 mark against the dollar. Inflationary pressure, of course, also piling up on the local market against that US dollar. Investors from foreign markets are fleeing Kenya and going to a bit safer grounds. So what can we do to encourage investments from all our Kenyans to ensure that development is also happening on a domestic level? Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. Tweet me and tag me at Richard_OKENYE. Going out to the roads, seeing the developments, and then coming back with more stories on business here on Biashara Tuesday. Welcome. Let's kick it off. So El Minimo, it is now a turnaround, according to statements from the President of the Republic, William Ruto, on Sunday, where he said that scientists had predicted heavy rains or heavy downpour in terms of El Nino, as was witnessed back in 1997. Now it is El Nino, because he's saying that we will only be having short rainfalls in this period, and farmers will not be affected by heavy downpour as had earlier been predicted. So the preparedness that was being done across counties or also on the national level is expected to not continue. Even as we get to the 4th week of October, they had predicted that in the 3rd week and in the 4th week of October, it's when the El Nino rains are going to begin. Scientists are yet to give their word, as after President William Ruto gave out his statement. The Kenya Met Department hasn't said anything yet so far, in as much as those statements by the president are concerned. But if the president says there's no El Nino, we should trust him, or what do you think? Let us know if your county was prepared, and where exactly will the preparedness fund go to? Many counties had prepared millions of Kenyan shillings towards combating the effects of El Nino. So what will happen to this amount of money that was set aside? The Nairobi County was buying boats to help Kenyans navigate, or Nairobians navigate, around the floods which were expected. So where are the boats going to? What about the committees which were put up, to the task forces which were put up to help combat El Nino? What will happen to that money? What will happen to that preparedness? Ask your counties. Even as you ask them on preparedness, accountability is also important if after these sentiments have been made. Road maintenance levy, something that you can expect in your pay slip. As these discussions are happening, the government is proposing that more taxes are met on Kenyans at the pump to ensure that our roads are well developed. So that is happening. Last week as well, the interwebs were hit by this one lady who took a Nairobi County Council officer for a tour around Nairobi after they had a scuffle within the Nairobi CBD. The Nairobi County Council officials have come out to support the officer who they say was in his right position to ensure that law and order is maintained in the city by all road users. However, of course, Kenyans are rallying behind this lady who decries, of course, the rogue officers of the Nairobi County Council, who as also this morning also wanaulizwa by Maina Ole Wambugu on Twitter at Sakaja Johnson, that is the governor of Nairobi County, hujatuambia kanjo wa parking umewachukulia private car and now they are terrorizing residents of Kilimani by clamping and asking for bribes. So here is a vehicle, a private private car, which is now allegedly being used by Kanjo, Nairobi County Council officers, to terrorize residents of Kilimani by clamping and asking for bribes. And this is from Maina Ole Wambugu, a resident of Kilimani. Anaulizia namna gani hapo. Guardrails, road safety volunteers of Kenya are saying that you should be aware now that guardrails have a mechanism of interlocking and overlapping based on direction of traffic flow to avoid penetration and redirect vehicles. So guardrails are important, and of course this is just information on awareness to all road users. Thika City Kids Academy school van stolen this morning, or this is yesterday actually. So this school van KCZ 614R school van by Thika City, or belonging to Thika City Kids Academy, was stolen yesterday morning 4 a.m. around Muguga in the Thika Total station. So report to the nearest police station if you happen to see this near you, and you are kindly share widely. So I'll repeat that. The school van belonging to Thika City Kids Academy was stolen at 4 a.m. yesterday. So if you have any information on this, they are yet to know where that is. Current information and transport conditions around the city, and of course leading into the city. Gari za Sagana zinapandiwa wapi tao kwa sababu tumekwama. This is Oliver Muya. The issue of rogue motorbike operators exploring the southern bypass entrance to the Moja Expressway on the wrong side, even at night. Even at night, rogue motorbike operators are using the southern bypass and they are using the wrong side. This is extremely risky, and road users, motorists who are joining the expressway are complaining here, including Dennis Mungai, who is one of those expressway users. Something you need to know on the slippery roads in case of rainfall. The risk of driving in the rain is slippery road surfaces, reduced visibility, increased braking distance, reduced tire grip, increased chances of accident, hydroplanning. So therefore, practice safe driving habits if you're going out to the roads in wet conditions. So those are the risks of driving in the rain, and in wet conditions you need to be safe and to practice safe driving habits. More information here. Thika Road kunakaa salama sana. Jogoo Road mwendo ni wa kinyonga. If you're heading out to town, is it possible to return Outer Ring to its stature in which it was 3 years ago? Watu Outer Ring wanna complain it's piling up traffic and also very risky to cross for pedestrians. What is Kenya doing? Langata Road since 9 a.m. yesterday. What is happening all the way to Karen Langata Road? So more information is from yesterday, but this morning it is that much that I could provide for you. Let us know what is happening on traffic and transport conditions wherever you are at, even if you're outside of Nairobi. Also, kama kunanyesha mahali huko, some scientists here are responding to the statements by President William Ruto, saying that if you're seeing sun outside of Nairobi, it doesn't mean there's no El Nino. It's just that El Nino is going to affect other parts of the country differently. So if you're where El Nino is being experienced or heavy rainfall, please let us know. And also if it's affecting transportation this morning or any other information on transportation, we'd love to give information here on the show. Let's continue with Biashara Tuesday. Welcome. this morning. Let us know what you're feeling. And also, if you have your cup of coffee, warm cup of coffee, to join us here on the show, let us know what your statements are on the stories that we'll be sharing here as we continue with matters of business on Biashara Tuesday. This is KUTV Rise Today. Just to remind you, it is the best morning breakfast show on television. We give you a radio experience on TV. So it's fun, it's education, it's entertainment, but also it's very informative. I'll be joined later on by two gentlemen here on the show. We are discussing the matters that are developing on our dailies. I'll be with Nick Mwadime Mwangi, who is the National Executive Director of the MKUSA. MKUSA is the Mount Kenya region of University Students Association, Mount Kenya Universities and Colleges, University and Colleges Students Association, Mount Kenya Colleges and University Students Association, MKUSA. And therefore, the National Executive Director has been here before on the show. We've discussed various issues. We've also took a look at the newspapers before, and we'll be continuing with that this morning. He'll be joined on a panel discussion by Jesse Whitey Wanyeri, who is also a chairman of the United to Transform Youth. He's a chairman of the United to Transform Youth. He'll be here on the show. He's from the county of Nyeri and also an organizing secretary of the youth or the Young Future Movement. We'll be here to take a look at what is happening here. The Business Daily says the Kenyan shilling officially exchange rate hits 150 and is likely to breach that 160 mark. It is now selling, as according to the official rates by the Central Bank of Kenya, between 154 Kenyan shillings and 157 Kenyan shillings to $1. So $1 at 154 and 157. That is what the Business Daily is prioritizing. The Daily Nation, which is also the other paper that I have here with me, why the CJ wants life sentence scrapped. Why the CJ, the Chief Justice, now wants life sentence scrapped and has tabled two bills in the National Assembly. We'll discuss on exactly what this is and other more developments which are there in the headlines. Right about now, I'm going to have a look at the developments, especially from the bulletin yesterday night, KUTV Primetime News, also leading up to this morning, as prepared by our reporters in the KUTV newsroom. We'll be back shortly. Let's begin with matters of education. The Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examination, KCSE, has commenced as of yesterday across the country, with French, German, Arabic, music, and Kenya Sign Language candidates sitting for their first oral practical exams. The last KCPE exams are also set to begin next week on Monday, 30th of October, together with the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment, KPSEA, for the Grade 7 CBC candidates. Listen in.
Oral practical exam for French, German, Arabic, music and Kenya Sign Language has kicked off today and is set to continue through the week till Friday, October 27th. Home science candidates shall also have their practical planning session on Wednesday, October 25th for their practical exam that will begin on Monday, October 30th. Earlier this year, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu announced that the examination papers will be collected twice a day instead of once a day, which has been the norm. The morning exam paper shall be collected, and after it is completed, it shall be returned during the collection of the second paper. On the other hand, this year's 1.4 million KCPE candidates, who are the last to sit for national exams under 844 curriculum, shall begin the exams on Monday, October 30th, together with Kenya Primary School Education Assessment CBC candidates and Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment candidates. Kenya National Examination Council is working to ensure there will be no cases of exam malpractice in the 2023 national exams for the 3.5 million and above candidates who will be sitting for the KCPE and KCSE examination. NEC has released stringent rules that will see cheating candidates denied results and awarded result Y overall if there is evidence of widespread irregularities in any examination center. The examination result for the whole center will be cancelled. Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Now, closer home, the Kenyatta University Cultural Week has officially kicked off. While presiding over the opening ceremony, Kenyatta University Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina noted that the Culture Week Festival has played a role in building and growing national and international talents over the years. The VC further urged students to take part in the activities which are planned out for the week to celebrate cultural diversity. This marks the 30th anniversary since the Culture Week was started, as Ruth Wanjiru now reports.
Songs and dances characterized the opening ceremony of the Kenyatta University's 30th Culture Week. Different performances electrified the stage, from traditional dances, urban dances, poetry, international dances and instrumentals. Kenyatta University Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina did not shy away from showing his traditional dance moves either. He gracefully joined the culture ambassadors on stage as he commissioned them to partake their duties of enhancing cultural diversity. The VC then stopped at the display tent to have a look at different displayed ornaments from different cultures. In his opening speech, Professor Paul Wainaina noted that the Cultural Week has not only helped in enhancing cultural diversity, but has also raised the university's bar high as an institution to benchmark from in matters music and culture.
KU Culture Week Festival has transformed Kenyatta University into a favorite benchmarking destination for many learning institutions that wish to start their own festivals.
He further added that the Culture Week celebrations goes hand in hand with President Ruto's plan of enhancing cultural diversity.
We are at Kenyatta University pledged our support to the President's call and commitment to do this through continuing to fund and support such festivals as the culture of the week that we have.
Also in attendance with the DVC academics was Sheke Wanjohi, who noted how rich and enticing our cultures are.
It's amazing how rich our culture is, and we are celebrating it, and we really take advantage, full advantage of it, and draw synergy from it so that we can become a more cohesive nation.
Now that the Culture Week wheels are on the roll, much is expected from the festivals, which are set to run till this Friday, where the new Mr. and Mrs. Kenyatta University will be crowned. Ruth Wanjiru, OKENYE TV.
All right, from Kenyatta University, we move over to President William Ruto, who is now thanking the government of Japan for aiding in funding of infrastructure projects in health, agriculture and education. Among them, a high-tech laboratory facility upgrade at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, the Southern Bypass in Mombasa, and intelligent transport system in Mombasa County. This was during a meeting by the Japanese ambassador to Kenya, Ken Okaniwa, who delivered a message from Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to the president. We move on to legal matters now. Alleged Nairobi fake lawyer Brian Mwenda has been granted a 200,000 Kenyan shilling cash bail. Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina, who granted this while ruling on the matter, said that he had considered the submissions by both the prosecution, defense and victims in the case. According to Onyina, there was no compelling reason to deny the accused bail. Mwenda has also accused the Law Society of Kenya of overstepping its mandate, arguing that it's a political season for the society and that there exist cases of impersonation and that LSK leadership has never dealt with the said cases and participation the way they are dealing with him. Mwenda was on Wednesday charged with making a fake certificate for admission to practice law as an advocate. He denied 6 counts of making a false document, uttering a false document, and identity theft. The case will be mentioned on November. Move on to trade, where fair trade certified tea factories in the country have been challenged to invest in production of quality tea right from farm level to attract the extra sum which is paid on top of the selling price. In Kilifi County, Kilifi Governor, members of Parliament and Senator have agreed to work together for prosperity in their county. This and more in the county wrap with Aisha Saif.
In consideration of the changes in tea sector, Chairman of Mungania Tea Factory Fair Trade in Embu, Alfred Muridi, said they are gearing towards improving quality tea right from the farm level, value addition and packaging. In support of Muridi, Factory Chairman David Mwenje stated that they have been able to carry out numerous projects across the catchment area in the areas of education, health and road infrastructure.
As Mungania Fraternity, we are gearing our efforts towards improving on quality, improving on packaging of our teas. We have been charged because our teas is quite traditional. We have been charged to add value to our teas. That's the way we are doing. We have already started by doing value-added teas, by doing, like, we have ginger tea, we have masara tea, which was not there initially.
Elsewhere, Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo, who sought a statement from the Standing Committee on Education, said that several teachers were appointed into acting capacity in different schools in the county from the year 2017, but are yet to be confirmed. Dulo now wants the committee to establish the number of teachers who are waiting for promotion to head teachers and deputy head teachers position. In the meantime, Kilifi County, Governor Gideon Mungaro, members of Parliament and Senator have made a declaration to work together to push for the region's development agenda. Among the issues at hand are how they will be able to consolidate projects to avoid duplication. The leaders also discussed about the El Nino rains which are expected and the oncoming national examinations.
Tumekutana kama viongozi wa Kilifi na wabunge ili kujadiliana masuala yetu ya maendeleo ya county, ya vile tutaweza consolidate miradi ili wakati mbunge wa Malindi anafanya mradi fulani na mimi nafanya fulani, tuwe tunaweza kusije tukamwaga pesa mbalimbali.
With the initiative of unity, Kilifi leaders shall be able to move forward on development despite the fact that they belong to different political affiliations. Aisha Saif, KUTV.
In our business wrap now, fuel prices are expected to rise amid Israel-Hamas war that is threatening to draw in more actors from the Middle East, which is the main source of Kenya's fuel imports. Listen into that stories on this business round.
Following the Israel-Hamas war that broke out 2 weeks ago, fuel prices in the country are expected to go higher due to the escalating war between Israel and Hamas, which are the main source of fuel in the country, according to Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The Deputy President has therefore defended the government against calls to reinstate fuel subsidies, saying that would call for more taxes against Kenyans. In the meantime, Safaricom has hosted an industry-wide cybersecurity summit with an aim to create awareness on cyber threats and discuss available technologies to build business resilience.
To use technology, and we always say if you combine technology with innovation, you can really transform lives. You can enable people to live better, to socialize better, to shop better. There are three elements that we'll be doing for the youth. First is to ensure that they have access to the technology.
The event, marked under the theme Becoming a Cyber Resilient Organization, brought together close to 400 cybersecurity industry leaders and professionals to discuss the latest cybersecurity trends and evolving enterprise networks, thus improving efficiency in service delivery and safeguarding platforms from cyber threats. Meanwhile, Kenya shilling is expected to reach a rate of more than 160 Kenya shilling for $1 due to increased demand for the US dollar. According to data from the Central Bank of Kenya CBK, the shilling reached an average exchange rate of 149.7 against the dollar, with the retail dollar buyers currently paying up to 157 shillings per unit. Charles Kirubi, KUTV.
And this morning, our reporter Aisha Saif brings us stories from street families in Nairobi's Jivanji Gardens in their struggle to earn enough income that will adequately enable them to support themselves and their families. Take a look.
A research by the World Social Summit identified poverty eradication as an ethical, social, political, and economic imperative of mankind and called on governments to address the root causes of poverty, provide for basic needs for all, and ensure the poor have access to productive resources, including credit, education, and training. Kenya, often celebrated for its natural beauty and vibrant culture, like many other countries, also faces the stark issue of poverty, making it a pressing concern. Some of the Kenyans' families struggle daily to make ends meet, with many ending up in streets. In Nairobi's Jivanji Garden, we meet a majority of street families who echo their challenges they face in their daily lives. According to them, lack of income has contributed greatly to the rise of street families, forcing them to leave their homes and opt for the streets, bearing the struggle to afford an income.
Miki tulifanya nikatoka huko Ocha ni ati familia ijiwezi.
Ile hali tu ngumu ya nyumbani. Nilifanya tu nikasema acha niende ni hustle hata mimi napata kitu yangu. Lakini mambo bado tunaomba tu Mungu atufungulie njia.
As the saying goes, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It is a contrast to it. Financial difficulties impelled some of the street families to school dropout.
Niko na wadogo wangu huko nyuma na wazazi wangu hawajiwezi kimapato. So nilisoma nikafika class 8. Nikafanya mtihani kuingia high school, do ilikosekana. So mimi mambo haikuniendea fine. Kabidi sasa mimi nimepiga shughuli ya kuondoka kufika hadi huko jijini.
As the street families struggle to get income, it is not enough for them to cater for all their needs like food and clothing.
Chalezi kidogo manguo hivi, chakula, sabuni hivi ya kuoga, plus mablanketi hivi za kulalia. Wakati huwa nini wakiwa mvua hivi tunateseka sana.
Bali nakaa saa hizi ni ngori sana juu sasa hatupati do za kulipa kitu kaa keja. Na for example hii talent yako unaweza kuwa unaitumia mtu anakurushia coins hapo hivyo. Nini? So unaweza kuta mwisho wa siku hizo do ukipiga mahesabu haziwezi tosha hapo hivyo kitu kaa kuvaa. Inahitaji ukule, inahitaji ulale.
Health has also been one of the problems that they face, and they try to get medication from public hospitals despite the challenges of not being able to cater for their medical bills.
Mmoja wetu akiwa mgonjwa kama mimi, wenzangu unichukua ampeleka na mkoko. No, bado inakuanga ngumu juu sisi naona sika mtu akona kichere. Sisi tunabidi tutumia mkoko, hatuwezi tumia ambulance, unaona? Juu pale hivyo ile maswali tunaenda kuulizwa, maswali ngumu. Na serikali tutaki hivyo, unaona? Sasa inabidi sisi tunachukua mkoko, tunashikana juu, ukienda ukiwa mmoja hawezi tibiwa, itabidi umeitishwa do, na saa hizo una do, wewe ni survivor.
Most of the street families use their talents to earn income, but also face challenges since they have no sponsors to support their dreams.
Tukienda kuzitoa zinarudishwa chini. Hata pale hivyo tukizitoa, mseme kurushia kambao, huyo mwingine katen, pata hiyo doi kutosha dikeja.
Wengine wao wako na talent, lakini sasa ile support ndio hawana. So kimimi ile support tu nikiweza pata, for example mtu ananiingiza studio, kitu ka dance hapo hivyo anifanyie shooting nini, bora tu nipate chance ya kuomoka.
They say the personality is better than wealth. Bradley is one of the example. He has been close to some of the street families, and after seeing how they are affected with poverty, he is helping them according to his abilities to come out of it.
Nimekaa na watu wa street, kuna vile nimekaa nao huko Saiza Isili, hapo ndo nikapata kuwa kuna changamoto zingine watu wanapitia, lakini hakuna mtu anaweza jua.
He is also on a journey of building a foundation to support the talents of the street families, and he's asking other Kenyans to help in supporting their talents.
There's a foundation that najaribu kufungua inaitwa Mashughuli Foundation, which ita help the street children at least watoke hapa pali wako. Kama tutashirikiana kama vile tunasema kwa wimbo wetu ya taifa, tutawatoa nje na tutawasaidia.
Bradley is also calling on the national government and the county government to see through their challenges as they live in the streets and to support their talents. This day, however, intends to develop understanding of communications between people living in the poverty and society in general.
As the world celebrates International Day for Eradication of Poverty, street families still face challenges and are asking the government and well-wishers to help them. Aisha Saif, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, an estimated 20 million children in sub-Saharan Africa walk barefoot, leaving them vulnerable to diseases and parasites. A United States charity is donating some specially designed shoes that expand 5 sizes and last for years. Juma Majanga reports from Nairobi's informal settlement of Kibra, Kenya.
At Karama Academy Primary School in Africa's largest slum, Kenya's Kibra, children sing songs of joy. Thank you for giving us shoes, they sing in Swahili to celebrate a donation of special shoes from the American charity Because International in partnership with Swahiba Networks, a Kibra-based non-profit.
The challenge in this particular area and some of the most impoverished parts of the nation is that most families, shoes is the last thing they think about. And so when a child is going to school, if they have probably some form of uniform, they will give the uniform, but the child will be barefoot.
Barefoot children are at heightened risk of stepping on sharp objects or being infected by harmful bacteria in soil or contaminated water. The shoe that grows, the name of the donated footwear, caters to the needs of growing children who live in poverty.
Kids grow very fast, and the normal shoes tend to they tend to outgrow the normal shoes. That's why we came up with the shoe that grows. The shoe that grows is a special shoe that can adjust to different levels. So we target to give the child when it at its smallest size, and it can be adjusted as the foot grows at its biggest size.
Juliet Rispa is among the 200 Karama Academy students receiving a pair of the special shoes. The 13-year-old says she used to wear slippers to school.
I feel like I want to jump up around because it's super duper awesome and it's nice to wear new shoes.
Rispa's teacher, Tom Brand, thinks the shoes will help boost the students' confidence.
Some of them are the torn shoes since they come from the needy places. So it is of great help, and I'm sure it will improve them even academically, in that they'll now have that confidence, self-confidence, because they are decent from the shoes.
The World Health Organization says 1.5 billion people worldwide suffer from soil-transmitted ailments or parasitic worms, the highest number being in sub-Saharan Africa, where an estimated 20 million children walk without shoes due to high levels of poverty. Because International says it has distributed over 425,000 pairs of shoes in more than 100 countries.
The primary objective, number one, is health, so that these children can stay healthy, but also to show them that someone really does care.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 1 calls for ending poverty in all its forms, everywhere. While a pair of shoes may not sound like much to some, for the children of Kibra, it means more self-confidence and better health. Juma Majanga, VOA News, Kibra, Kenya.
Now, as the Israel-Hamas war intensifies, the United States underscored on Sunday that its military presence in the Middle East is being boosted as of now only as a deterrent measure. But it has also warned that it will swiftly respond to any imminent threats. VOA's Veronica Baldera Iglesia now reports.
As Israeli forces prepare for the next stages of their war against the militant Palestinian group Hamas, concerns of it becoming a wider conflict haven't subsided. In that context, the United States announced additional deployments of air defense systems to the region. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin explained the move on ABC's This Week show.
Recently, we've seen rocket and UAV attacks against bases housing our troops in Iraq and Syria. We maintain the right to defend ourselves, and we won't hesitate to take the appropriate action.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who recently toured the region, emphasized that the boost in U.S. military presence is a deterrent measure. He was interviewed on NBC's Meet the Press.
We don't want to see a second or third front develop. We don't want to see our forces or our personnel come under fire. But if that happens, we're ready for it.
On the humanitarian front, Turkey became one of the latest countries to send aid for Palestinian civilians. But the flow of convoys carrying supplies across Egypt's Rafah crossing into Gaza has been too slow, said Cindy McCain, the executive director of the UN World Food Programme, in an interview with ABC.
We were able to feed about 200,000 people last night during dinner, but that's not enough. That's a drop. People are starving, but also this is a national security issue for everyone in this region.
With the stakes so high in the Middle East, it's imperative that the Republican majority in the U.S. House of Representatives elect a speaker, said the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Republican Michael McCaul. He spoke on ABC about the deadlock to fill the seat that has remained vacant since Kevin McCarthy was ousted at the beginning of October.
The world's on fire. This is so dangerous what we're doing. And most importantly, it's embarrassing because it empowers and emboldens our adversaries.
Despite the urgency, McCaul acknowledged that he doesn't know if a speaker will be elected this coming week or how the process will play out. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.
All right, now let's take a look at a little bit on sports. The newly crowned Valencia half marathon champion Kibiwot Kandie has said he intends to vie for a spot on the Kenyan marathon team for the 2024 Olympics. This is also happening as Kibiwot defended his title on Sunday with a time of 57 minutes and 40 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Yomif Kejelche and Hagos Gebriwet, who finished in second and third place respectively. The Olympic Games are scheduled to begin on July 26th, 2024 in Paris, France, with several athletes expected to represent Kenya in those games. All right. Of course, congratulations to Kibe Watt, who won his half marathon on Sunday, and all the other athletes who are expected to represent Kenya in Paris in 2024. Is it Paris? Paris? If you know, please let us know on social media the pronunciation. But that brings us to the end of the updates this morning on KUTV Rise Today. A very big hand of gratitude to all our reporters in the KUTV newsroom who have been able to prepare all these stories for us here. Remember to also watch the rest of this broadcast or the primetime news at 9 p.m. and earlier on 6:30 p.m. you get Mizizi ya Habari from KUTV newsroom. Right about now, let me take a fast break here on Biashara Tuesday. I'll be back. More conversations are happening on business. Remember to use the hashtag Biashara Tuesday. Tag me as well at Richard_Kenya. I'll be back. There's more that's happening. I have the papers here with me. The gentlemen who are supposed to join me here on the show are also ready and gearing up for the discussions that will be happening here. Leave us a comment. We'll be right back.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
The Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade. And like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, is the second advent is imminent.
Adventures across the African continent.
See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes,
and out of this world technologies.
Meet incredible scientists
and learn fantastic facts.
Explore, discover, be amazed.
Be part of the next generation of African change makers.
Be a part of ENGEN, Africa's #1 science discovery program.
Yay!
We're learning every day.
This year we have 3 theme areas: food security, nuclear energy, and then climate change.
And it unites those who believe in the harmony of human prosperity, vibrant ecosystems, pristine oceans, and stable climate.
Nuclear
Energy has the potential to address the pressing issue of energy poverty in Africa, where up to 600 million people have no access to reliable electricity.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that we are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Can Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hutoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pa si vuguvugu. Pepo pa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Okay, so as I'm preparing to see what the headlines have here, actually all of us are going to participate in this session, the newspaper review. So get yourself a copy of the Daily Today, any Daily Today, Daily Nation, the Business Daily, the Standard, the People's Daily, the Star, the East African Review, whichever you get the headline, please share it with us and tell us what your reactions are like. But in the meantime, we also do go out there in the ground to see what you guys are up to in terms of business. We discuss business here, we discuss the economy, we discuss the impact, but what are you doing in terms of contributing to the economy, but also in the business efforts that you are making? Economy Mtaani is a business segment here on Biashara Tuesday where we highlight a few of those businesses that young people are up to and maybe hopefully pick a few lessons here and there. So today, this is our highlight on Economy Mtaani.
My name is Alex Moy. I'm founder and creative director of Archer Digital, a digital marketing and advertising agency based here in Nairobi. And we work with small and medium enterprises to help them acquire and retain their customers profitably, doing a whole range of marketing solutions for them, social media, film and the likes, but really to help them be able to communicate and capture their customers. A little background is it's a youth-owned business. It started from a campus hostel just as a side hustle. And when we actually just finished campus, we just thought, hey, we know the economy sometimes is hard with employment and all that. And since we already have some skills, how about we just start and see how it goes? And it all started with just that. With whatever little money we had in our pockets, we bootstrapped and said, let's start doing this. Our inspiration to start Archer Digital was just the passion of seeing how a little business can be uplifted by the things you do. You help a business design a flyer, it can get a few customers. So the background was helping, even when we were in campus, used to help small businesses around the campus that we were in, do some design for them. And just by that, you'd see that they get a bit more customers, they get some traction, they're happy, they come back to you, do more flyers, things like event posters. So it was the impact that you could feel and the happiness you'd see from somebody else, lighting up from saying that you've done something for them and this something has led them to continue being in business and they're happy to pay for that. And hence, it felt like something good to continue, creating value and getting paid for your value as well, meaning that you're doing something impactful and something you enjoy. Yeah. I'd like to say that, with I don't know if it was a clear vision or it was just the thing that made us start the business with that same passion. So our priorities, the change has never been there as much. We've continued just to help other businesses in the same small and medium size. I think just being more prioritized to seeing how can that continue, how can you build that to allow that your team can be bigger and better so that it can serve more and more customers, because the vision now is more clear. It's less of Alex needs to do it or another person in the team. It's now a team effort that we can push, and in the end the result can be seen by whoever wants to engage our services and not limit only a small clique of people to do so. So that in terms of the vision, that's the only thing that's changed, is that we are more clearer to say that anybody who's an SME and wants to figure out a way, they can talk to us through our different products or programs, and we're able to help them. Location is very important in many different businesses, including even a service business who, us, for example, we don't need to be at the front of the mall so that people can see and know us, but some businesses do. So when we decided to start our location, it just started with what can we afford at the time, and that used to be our homes. Like we used to just work and bring our work together, maybe we meet somewhere in town and just discuss maybe the projects we've gotten and show each other, because that was within our budget. We got our first office. It was somewhere convenient, maybe to our team, where they can come and bring their ideas together, where we could afford, and as well where we could see that our customers are close by. So So that was a location. And then we've just evolved as well. Even if we moved to our second location, it became because of that. Somewhere where people can find it easy to come to us, because our job is to eliminate the hardship for the customer. I'd say any business has challenges. No matter how funded, no matter how big you want to start or how small you want to start, there will be challenges. And sometimes I think the biggest one we faced is seeing that we were youth-led business, that we had no past experience in setting up business. We know how to do the marketing, etc., but do we know how to ourselves manage a business, manage operations, human resources? So it was a bit on the information gap, and also funding as well. I would say not that we needed a lot of funds to start, but bootstrapping meant that maybe a vision that you had would take a bit longer, but you'd work hard towards it. So for us, I feel like as you start a business, maybe sometimes you look for some advice or a mentor who can tell you, if you want to grow your business, take 10% and save, or do something like that. So we took a bit of longer time to learn that, but as we came to learn it, some of the challenges are reducing, but even now, challenges still come, COVID, elections, but I think it's to remain very steadfast and be very strong to continue in entrepreneurship. Keep your passion in the front of your mind. I think funding or finance will always be an operational concern for any business. You always need to know where will you get your next money so that you can sustain your operation, so that you can also be profitable. And for us, what we started with, the challenge was to keep very lean. As a young team, as young guys, you can afford to maybe skip a meal. There's nobody depending on you to say that, please send out, I don't have a family maybe, or something like that depended on you. So you could keep your finances really lean. If you have the opportunity when starting, you can do that and say that I'll try and keep it as affordable as possible. So we tried to do that for the longest time, and we still do. So managing your finances, learning a bit about financial self-control, financial management, and then I guess putting in systems, the financial systems, like payment apps or your accounting applications, or even the accountant that you might end up needing. So we've managed it that way, and then now we continue to fund our business through operations, being able to work for clients, then taking that work and paying the dues that are there, so employees, office rent, and so on. But you keep budgeting, seeing your payments are coming in, then continue. Don't rush into now taking a whole team of 20 and then saying, let's wait for work. You have to grow at pace. And if you do need a big team in the beginning, then you might need to find some financing to be able to sort you out. But good thing that the world is really opening up. There's all these programs. Banks are listening, funders are available. So I guess it's figuring out what do you want to do, then share your passion widely with all the people you want to see, maybe be part of your clients or be part of people who trust in you. Being in a service business, I think any business as well, just like finance, I think people are just as a strong component. You need people so that you can grow. You need to work collaboratively with people, clients, consultants, and the better you work with them, the better you can see our growth. So when we started, we knew that our people will be a very important part of our business. So no matter what kind of position we were hiring for, even a very entry-level position, we'd want at least to hear the perspective of the people we are sorting from and seek professional advice. If it's somebody who does graphic design, what do they need to have, what capacity, and then start and trust each other in a partnership and say, this is where we are. We're a startup and we're trying to do this in a very transparent kind of way. And now Source for Talent, there's a lot of youth these days, and they're ready and they're trainable. They're happy to be shown the way. So sometimes, even if your budget doesn't allow, what it can allow you is to be able to grow together. So we've done a lot of training and started with a very young team. So we are growing together and showing the vision so that we can work together towards it. And then, just keep the respect. I think just like humans, you treat them well, you get to collaborate well. Our model of serving SMEs, not a lot of agencies can afford to help a small growing business because maybe they need larger budgets. So I think the uniqueness is for us, we've always been razor focused on whatever business that comes on board, what's the fastest way we can get them to profitability, or at least getting their return from marketing and advertising so that they can meet their goals. So that's usually our key concern. Then at any stage of a growing or small business, we listen and say, I think we have a training program for you. This one is actually free. We have this one, you can pay this much. So we listen to the needs and tailor the solution to the customer. And I feel that's very unique because there's no SME that's the same. I might own a restaurant, both of us own a restaurant, but this one is here, another one is here. But they all are trying to do business. Yeah. So our biggest marketing strategy is ignoring the competitors and not trying to figure out what are they doing, but yet focusing on our own product. If I was a restaurant, I would, for example, say if I make biryani, I'm just focusing on having the best biryani in town. If there's another neighbor who's also making biryani, good for him. Everybody needs to eat. So if you want to eat that biryani, and you can find my biryani as well really good. So for us, it's been, let's focus on having good products for the customers that they leave saying, wow, these guys have really helped us, so that we can keep them over a long time and we can continue supporting them. So our biggest marketing strategy has been along supporting customers really well, and then now reaching out, I think, just as well, seeing the solution that you can provide to a business. So we also do our own same social media marketing, digital marketing, website. We've done the foundations of what needs to be done in our industry, and we also get customers from that. So within our constraints, we try and do the same. We define success by every happy customer or happy engagement that leads to, I came to you guys, I had this problem. The problem was humongous. We've solved 90% or 50% of it. I'm really happy because my business is moving along and I want to continue being helped. So success for us means continuing to serve customers who have more and more needs. And then also our team growth, happiness to see that our team can grow from a designer to an art director, from as well, obviously the bottom line, if you're able to at least pay everybody and earn your buck, you can keep your business afloat and look at it at scale. But for us, the ultimate would be to scale our business to the heights of Africa or the world, to be able to say Archer can support the same SME in South Africa, the same SME in West Africa, and we're able to do that right now remotely. But as we grow, we're hoping, what if we had an Archer in South Africa, another one in Nigeria, and if that serves the customers we'll have then, we'll be very happy. What I enjoyed most about starting the company is I think I'm a person who enjoys a bit of a challenge. So that seeing that what I learned and what's on the ground is something, you learned this, but you have to apply it this way to the real world to be able to earn your keep. So it means that you're always problem solving, you're always being innovative, you're always listening to somebody's passion and need, and you're like, wow, your business, I really love it, I really want to help you like this. And it's something I've really enjoyed, the joy of working with, up to date we've worked with 114 SMEs, just touching their business, and this guy is like, wow, that's really fantastic, ABCD. And even when we go wrong, seeing that we can still be human and discuss this and say, oh client, we're sorry, but we can fix it and rectify it. I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed growing an amazing team, growing and working with very friendly, nice people I enjoy to see, to have meetings with and to collaborate on different projects. So for me, that's been the biggest joy so far. I guess my greatest motivation is to see Africa come alive a bit. The youth also find opportunities. I can't change maybe the whole world, but I can change, a small circle of, for example, now the small circle of 114 businesses we worked with and our team that we have. I mean, that's a small change in the right direction towards, what I feel is a good ideal. But I keep being inspired by so many African young business owners, inspired by just people solving real world problems today. So even seeing those products that we market that are solving problems for others, you're like, wow, this guy has an app that does this and it's helping somebody else. So that's also very, my inspiration. I've been very much inspired by a lot of African leaders and young people actually doing great things. I really like Vusi Tembekwaya of South Africa, who's a very inspirational speaker, advises young people in business. Vusi Tembekwaya. Yeah, Vusi Tembekwaya, good writer, good inspirational leader. At the Sandbox as well, where we are, I think I found good leadership in a lot of the SMEs we work with. But very particularly, I think Joram Winamo has inspired me in the business world and mentored me a bit. And globally, if we think about it, marketing-wise, I've been inspired by the likes of Simon Sinek, who's quite a thought leader in differentiating and doing things with the real purpose of why, and impacting real things. Just don't do marketing to do marketing. Enjoy what you do and really look at the results for others. So those have been really inspirational, I guess, people for me. My advice, if you really want to be an entrepreneur or you're just looking into the space, even if you're in 9 to 5, it doesn't limit you from being an entrepreneur. You can, within your organization, for example, Archer is an SME as well. I've found people in our team who've looked at how can we grow it, and we've grown it together. That's called entrepreneurship, because only the growth of where you are, if you're in somewhere and you don't want it to grow, you can't grow. So for me, if you want to go into entrepreneurship, I would believe that it's important to really have the passion for whatever you want to do. Don't open a restaurant if you don't like cooking or if you don't like the smell of food. So I believe is find something you really like, find to solve a real problem that's in the market as well. Don't just create an ideal product. Create something that you would ask 5 of your friends, would you pay for this? And they would say, wow, Alex, you have a really good idea. I would. And now take it and try and mold it and I think entrepreneurship has a level of patience that you need. Don't be thinking that you open today and there will be 50 customers at your door. Open and plan and think and come back, and also be very rigid. Not rigid, be very ready to grow into the position. With entrepreneurship comes the need to know so many things, need to connect with so many people, need to learn so many new skills. I think it's very important for you to be able to put your mind into, this is where I want to go. And even in a 9 to 5, don't be settled and content. I know the value these days that any business or anybody in business feels is that if my team just as well can think, how do we go the next step? That's the only way we can go, because I might not have all the solutions. Even me, I just woke up and started to solve something. Maybe I'm not seeing the problem you're seeing. So if we can work together and we can build it, let's do it. Let's not be content with just being at a 9 to 5 and doing, I wake up and I go and I come back at home and I've been told to do this and I'm done. Because our work is really wide range with SMEs, I'd say we work on everything and anything. I think for us, projects involve, film creation, involve digital marketing things, websites, SEO. And what I'm really proud of is that the capacity of what we are doing is being seen, is actually the same things that you will see people globally are doing. So we're doing work, for example, in Egypt, we're doing work in Nigeria, straight from here in Kenya. And we're getting those clients the happiness, the results that they want. So for me, it feels like whatever project we're taking on, we're just looking at how do we get it to the next step. And if it's getting to the next step, we continue and again. So it could be so many things. But maybe particularly as well, I host a training workshop for SMEs. And I really enjoy, I think, that mentorship and guidance with small businesses. And I guess why I'm very happy to be on this show today. Thank you so much. You're welcome and have a good one. Good luck, entrepreneurs.
All right, words of wisdom there from an entrepreneur who's saying that you shouldn't just, of course, stick to your 9 to 5, innovate, think around what you can do within the economy. If you're an SME, do everything and anything, as they're doing their digital marketing, SEO, improvisation, and also social media marketing. So there's a lot that you can do to boost your business. You need to get a few tips here and there from that piece of story, which you can find on our YouTube at KU TV Kenya. If you have a business that you'd like us to highlight, some business acumen that you have with you, you'd like to share with young people out there, please let us know. We'll be visiting you anytime soon. Going for a short break. Coming back with Nick Mwadime Mwangi. We're going to have a look at what the president brought as goodies from China and what other things are happening within the dailies, including the new proposition by the judiciary, which is 2 bills in the National Assembly to scrap the life sentence, and now they've tabled changes that are expected to be discussed by members of parliament. The shilling is breaching 150 and is closely moving slowly towards, or very fast actually, towards 160 Kenyan shillings against the dollar. Tanzania has overtaken Kenya, or is it Tanzania? It has overtaken Kenya as a destination, or as a favored destination for investment in the next 2 years. So Kenya is now coming right below Tanzania, and above there is South Africa and Egypt. What are our neighbors doing right that we aren't? Should we be worried or not? Nick tells me that we shouldn't be too worried because we speak English, we speak Swahili, both of them fluent, and that gives us an upper hand. But much more discussions are going to happen in a short while. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's get into it right away. The Daily Nation and the Business Daily. Let's look at the headlines before I introduce Nick, and then we get to know what he has to say, and also what you have to say on social platforms at KU TV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. Why CJ wants life sentence scrapped. Why CJ wants the life sentence scrapped. Amendments are being tabled here. 2 bills in the National Assembly proposing the sweeping changes to the Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code. This includes the readjustment of sentence for murder and robbery to ensure proportionate punishment and abolishment of life sentences, which will now be replaced. They'll be replacing this with a maximum sentence of 30 years. Yani life sentence should be moved now to 30 years maximum. Right there below, you can see the face of the CJ, Martha Koome, there, of course. And then below is the shilling exchanges at 150 to the dollar. The official exchange rate of the shilling against the dollar as of yesterday crossed the 150 unit mark following a period of sustained and consistent depreciation. That story on the shilling depreciating against the dollar is also the top story on the Business Daily. The Kenya shilling official exchange rate, which now is at 154, between 154 to 157 is what the banks are selling 1 shilling or $1 and buying it at between those figures. It has now been losing its value. The shilling has been losing its value at a rate of 17.7% since January. When President Uhuru Kenyatta left the reins and handed over to President William Ruto, Nick Mwadime tells me that the shilling was trading at 108 against the dollar, and now we are at 154, expected to cross 160 soon. Very soon, 200 shillings will be equal to $1. And then at some point, it means that 50,000 or $500 will be worth 100,000 Kenyan shillings. This was at 50,000 Kenyan shillings at some point. I know some Kenyans are still stuck on the conversion of 100 shillings. Ukiambia mtu kuna $1,000, they say, oh, 100,000 Kenyan shillings. No, It's not 100,000 Kenyan shillings. It's now 150 something thousand. So very soon we are going to 200,000. It's a sad state that is painted here at the front of the Business Daily. But there are going to be exciting stories as well. What has the country brought from China? The Business Daily highlights that, what Kenya got from China in the recent visit by President William Ruto. So more of those stories, including sports and what has happened locally and on the international front. So don't go far. Let's now get to discuss. But first, introduce Nick to the show once more.
Richard.
Good morning to you. Nendelaji.
How have you been?
I've been well.
Yes.
It's been a minute since we met here.
Yes. It's 2 weeks.
A couple of developments. Yes.
Nice tie, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Nice blazer yourself.
I think today we decided to do slightly Azimio colors.
Yes. Yes, a bit of blue here and there.
Yes.
Good touch.
Yes.
Someone told me some time back that when someone highlights the good thing about you, they want you to focus on what they have on the other end. So if you tell me nice tie, you want me to look at your tie.
You're very brilliant. I didn't expect you to see me on that angle.
So yes, nice tie too, Nick, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you to director and producer Ryan, producer Boni. My name is Nick Modime Mwangi, National Executive Director of MKUSA, Mount Kenya Colleges, Universities and Student Association.
All right.
Yes, good to be here, Richard.
Good to have you.
Yes.
Let's begin with the Daily Nation. I think that's the one we will be focusing on mostly this morning.
Yes.
The CJ wants life sentence scrapped.
Well, I was just reading the back end story of why the CJ wants to do it, just to get a view, to understand the precedents that he's trying to set. Well, the standard of the international human rights systems, the sentencing of an individual previously from quite before, life imprisonment was very, very, very brutal. Some were hanged, some went by the needle, there was electrocution, but with time, as time changes, it became to a period of maybe 100 years. And the standards have slowly been reduced to a roughly 30 to 50 years. So Kenya is very critical to see these progressive changes, to see where it's going to be on the map, because as I explained earlier, we are trying to be, or we are yet there as a hegemon of Africa.
Right.
So the standards have been set, and it's a good bill.
Right. A lot of changes here which are lined up in the bill. Let me maybe mention them real quick to put our viewers into context, to give them the context of what this discussion is about. The bill, which seeks to amend provisions which are relating to mandatory death penalty in line with this Supreme Court ruling. So the judiciary has tabled these two bills, and maybe at a glance of what we have here on page 4 of the Daily Nation, you can follow through. Key among these proposals is the readjustment of sentences for murder and robbery to ensure that proportionate punishment for these different crimes. The Penal Code also seeks to revise life imprisonment to mean imprisonment for a term of just 30 years. It also seeks to decriminalize attempted suicide. And I think I like this specifically because this is also the month where we are taking a look at matters of mental health.
Very critical, yeah.
And previous shows here, we've had guests who've been calling out on the government to also take a look at matters of suicide.
Yes.
You know, this is criminalized, and sometimes it's not fair to these victims of suicide.
Yes.
They are seen not as victims but as perpetrators of a crime. And this will be a very good boost, of course, in matters of taking care of our mental health, men being the majority of who are falling under this.
Yes, we are the upfront, according to statistics, on matters of suicide.
Right, they will be deleting the section in the Principal Act under which a person who attempts suicide is guilty of a misdemeanor. The amendment also is seeking to abolish the privilege of publishing defamatory statements. The Penal Code and the Penal Code Bill of 2023 and the Criminal Procedure Bill of 2023 are making special provisions also for trial. So robbery, murder, and all these very serious first degree and second degree criminal cases are also going to be looked at. What do you make of the victims, though?
That's what makes me wonder.
If
Richard,
I was a victim of any of these crimes,
if I come to your home today, I shoot your wife, or your sister or your mother, what do you expect of me?
Life imprisonment, death penalty, the most extreme measures.
So those are the emotions that the National Assembly and the Court of Justice needs to balance.
So do we expect this to be an easy discussion, really?
Well, it's not going to be an easy discussion because matters of law and matters of emotions, sometimes they go hand in hand, sometimes they do not. Because soldiers go to war every day and they try to protect our borders. But the casualty of wars sometimes are women and children. So we usually play a blind eye to such matters of the law. However, when we come back, when we're tabling cases of murder, cases of first and second degree of murder, it becomes so much sensitive and emotional. Case study, we've recently seen the issue of the CS. I'm trying to remember her name. I don't know, CS Juma. Yes. Aisha Juma shot somebody, but allegedly there was not enough evidence to be tabled.
Right.
There's recently this journalist from Citizen who the issue about Monica, the issue about this guy Joey, right? It's been an ongoing case, very, very tight, and up to now we're not clearly seeing if there's any levels of justice.
Right. Mentioning members of parliament as well, members of parliament like Babu Wino,
exactly,
and his fellows who are also involved in some of these cases. So it's been moved that if you're involved in robbery, if you will be involved in robbery, or a person who's convicted in second degree robbery, this now will be liable for life imprisonment. And this is moving from death sentence to life imprisonment. I feel like, given that a few of our members of parliament are involved in some, or allegedly involved in some of these cases, this is going to be a smooth cruising. They would want the least punishment possible to any offences.
I don't want to perjure myself because I intend to go to parliament.
So you don't want to step on few toes here and there. But that's just an opinion from where I'm sitting, looking at it from, given that, a majority of these members of parliament, including senators, we've seen cases here and there of, senators brandishing their weapons in public, or members of parliament brandishing their weapons in public, or being allied to a few people here and there, goons who are said to have been, somehow related to these people who we have put on helm of leadership.
Yes, I want to agree with you completely, Richard. And how we need to reevaluate our National Assembly is, again, I throw the ball to the voters. Who do we elect in? Is it a matter of popularity? Is it a matter of fame? Is it a matter of political parties?
Okay.
We need to look at issues as matters of policies, as matters of objectivity, as matters, is this person really qualified to bring changes to us?
Right. Is this going to be a discussion on human moral values, or is this going to be a discussion on justice? Because as we'd hinted earlier, victims will look at it as a reprieve to those who, met some injustices against them. If someone, did commit robbery with violence, or someone, as you said, walked into my house and shot members of my family, I would like them to get the most extreme punishment. So I expect that emotion to also be taken into the consideration. But also there's human value. Who gets to judge? Who gets to judge who gets to condemn who to death? Who gets to decide how my life should go, or if I should be condemned to death? Why are you, as they say in the Bible, and we are a religious nation now, for the first time I get to quote the Bible here, that, you should take a look at the log in your eye before looking at the speck in your neighbor. Who gets to decide the life and death?
Well, the parliament has a very simple mandate. It needs to look at the bill. It needs to reevaluate the bill, and it needs to pass the bill if it sees fit. Now, the work of the judiciary is to implementation of the laws that come from the National Assembly. Now, there's usually a thin line, because I understand this could be one of the cases that the parliament's, for lack of a better word, I quote, intimidates the judiciary, because there's so many cases in the judiciary concerning the parliament, and the judiciary is just playing the long ball. So I tend to oversee a situation whereby it could be a push and pull, right? It could be a conversation that will not start today and end tomorrow.
All right.
Yes.
The amendments also seeks to abolish the privilege of publishing defamatory statements under the new proposal. Causing the death of another person by an unlawful act or omission will no longer be a simple case of murder, but will be classified as either first degree or second degree murder. Read for yourself there on page 4 of the Daily Nation. It's a priority story here.
Yes.
Why do you think that is? If you were
the number of cases that are ongoing in the Supreme Court or in the judicial system are too long.
Right. So there's a backlog of cases.
There's a backlog.
As well.
So I want to understand the editor of Daily Nation asking herself, yes, we say it is 30 years, but when do these people get convicted?
Right.
To 30 years.
Right.
Yes.
I wanted to bring up a few statistics as well on Kenya prisons, which is now we are overwhelmed, according to the latest survey here, that we have more prisoners than we have enough resources to handle. And I think also this brings us to whatever will be discussion in terms of what the CJ and the judiciary is tabling here, reducing that life sentence, reducing the number of years that people are spending in jail, which will be now a maximum of 30 years.
Yes.
So we have to depopulate our prisons as well, and I'm hoping this is also the kind of conversation that needs to be included in what the National Assembly is going to be discussing.
Yes. I really hope so, because we really need to look at the issue of justice in this country, because the justice is the pillar of the human hope. If I am offended, Richard, for example, by you, I need to seek somewhere else to get justice. I need to be I need to believe in the justice system, because it will be very sad, Richard, whereby the role of the justice system, the role of the judiciary is not played out very well.
Right.
Because so many cases, if people don't believe in the judiciary, they're going to believe in the power of their hands.
Right.
Yeah.
The power of the people.
The power of the people.
All right. Page 4 is where you get that story on CJ and life sentence, which she wants to be scrapped.
Yes.
And hopefully also taking a look at issues of suicide, which have been criminalized for quite some time now. Let's take a look at the shilling.
Yes.
Which is the story on the Daily Nation and also at the front of the Business Daily. As of the official rates of the CBK, 154 to 157, but we know that in the black market, which is of course operated outside of the regulations by the CBK, we will likely get it at 160 plus, or even at 170.
Yes.
So what is the indication of these rates?
One, Richard, I could hear the sadness of your tone.
Yeah.
Because the shilling has been going down by day. So I was just trying to imagine, is this Kenya Kwanza government, the William Ruto government, do they want us to actually apply the wheelbarrow in context? Because if you're going to devalue our Kenyan shilling, it means that we are going to carry a lot of money on the wheelbarrow to take to the bank.
Oh wow! So that's where the wheelbarrow comes in, just like the
just like Zimbabwe.
The story of Zimbabwe,
yes,
carrying it in a wheelbarrow.
Are they in any sense trying to tell us that that's where we are going?
All right, you know, the president did say that earlier in the year, 2 months after he took power, in 2 months or 3 months, that we'll be seeing the shilling going down to at around 115
and
against the dollar.
He's on record. He said, anaelewa mambo ya uchumi. But we are seeing that right from 13th of September, when he took power, the shilling has been dropping day by day.
17.7% depreciation since the beginning of the year.
You can imagine.
Right.
So it has moved from 108 to 150, and it will not stop there, because let's tell the truth. Yesterday, I saw David Ndii quote on Twitter. One of the Kenyans asked him, "Do we really have any hope?" So, and the response is, he said to the Kenyan, "When you see someone who is in ICU and is about to die, what do you expect?"
Wow. That's a response from people who are supposed to take care of
the
our
economic advisor.
economic direction.
Yes.
Right. So the shilling is weakening, and it's also affecting our neighbors. I was just having a look at Uganda. For instance, here it depreciated by 0.96% since January. We're actually doing the worst against our neighbors. And I'm betting this is why Tanzania is now being posed as the next best destination ahead of us in the next 2 years. Because their depreciation is at only 6.8%. But in Rwanda, in Rwanda, things are really worse. At 14% is the depreciation since the turn of the year. In Kenya, 17.7%, and that is against the dollar. This year, the Ugandan shilling has gained 20% to exchange against Kenya. So last year, you will get you will use 1 shilling and get it at you get 30 of those Ugandan coins. And now it is at 25. It means as we are doing worse against the US dollar, we're also doing worse
against our neighbors. On a later note, Richard, if you had defected to Uganda, right now you'll have been a billionaire.
Right, that's true.
But on a serious note, Richard, it's really a sad state because our country, Kenya, has been known to be a stability of investments. So when we see investors running to our neighboring countries with all their struggles and challenges that they have individually in their country, it should be very alarming. That what are we doing to stabilize our economy?
Right. The other consequence I'm expecting from this is the hoarding of the dollars. People who have dollars are probably, or people who have the ability to transfer their shillings into dollars are definitely going to do that. Keep it in the bank. Wait for the shilling to depreciate. Also investors. Why invest in a weakening currency and you can move to more stable markets? Right. So foreign investors, of course, expecting to see that effect on NSE in terms of how much jitters are going to be seen by foreign investment, and of course the drain of that into other, of course, more stable markets.
My good friend Niri Nyoro, he hilariously made me laugh yesterday when he said that Ruto has managed to stabilize the economy. And we are currently ranked 29th. With no debt.
The quote is here on page 2 of the Daily Nation. Let me just maybe read it out. Ruto, and it's a quote of the day. I wonder why it's the quote of the day for the Daily Nation, but let's hear it. Ruto has been able to stabilize Kenya's economy because of his wise, deliberate policies. Receives a laugh from Nick. Kenya was ranked the 29th fastest growing economy in the world in 2023. I will say this, if you are mono-eye, and you're among the blind people, you're definitely the king. Right? So rankings do not help your vision. You're still affected in one way or another. And he's saying we are no longer under debt stress.
And you see, it's very sad that it's coming from the chairman of budget committee at the Parliament, National Assembly.
Are they not aware of what's happening?
I'm trying to imagine that these are guys who are clapping when things are going wrong. That we have a show and we have a master of the show, and they are not telling the master that the show is going wrong. So they're secretly clapping, and they know that the show is going amiss.
Ndidi Nyoro is saying things are going well. President William Ruto is quoted to say that he's very happy that at the situation where the country is at, is at the helm of the leadership. You know, kama ingekuwa watu wengine ambao wanashughulikia mambo, he's not even, he can't even guess where the direction of the country will be headed.
The sad truth is, early this week we saw smoky sellers, we saw my boilo sellers. Their services being thrown to the street. This is a man who promised mama mboga, vijana wa boda boda, and those small business people of hope. Right now, Richard, on the street, my eye is 35 bob. Me and you cannot eat eggs for free.
Mimi niliacha mambo ya smocha, niliwacha kabisa. That's for matajiri.
Yes. And it is very sad that I want to imagine that if my eye is costing 35 bob, right from 15 to 20 shillings, right? I want to imagine the seriousness of how much they're buying from a retailer.
Right.
So he will play these gimmicks as he likes to play, but at the end of the day, I want to assure our president that Kenyans are not blind.
Right.
Kenyans are feeling the pain, are feeling the pinch each and every single day.
if I take you back a bit to September of 2022 at Bomas of Kenya, when the results were announced, is there one thing you remember that was out of place during the chaos, the commotion?
Well, among the most interesting thing that kept me cool was the choir.
Right.
Because the choir, as the choir kept singing, the tension was being reduced, while Chebukati's kipara was being knocked down.
Right. And the choir continued, just like the Titanic, when it was sinking, there was a band playing while people were sinking. The same thing we're seeing here. Our leaders are saying we're in a good position. The president says we're in a good position. But Mwananchi is suffering. So
And
it's
the
a choir of
Ninyoro are singing the song.
Right.
Yes.
So get to read on what the shilling is going to be at in the coming few days, or what you can get it at in various banks here. And page 2 of the Business Daily has that story, and page 6 of the Daily Nation.
On a lighter note, Richard, because we've really talked sensitive issues and very emotional issues. There's this lady called Miss Catherine Maundu, company secretary of BAT, and also company secretary of EBL,
company secretary of Safaricom PLC as well.
Yes. So what really caught me in the morning is EBL and BAT are pombe na sigara. So in our view, ameona ache pombe na sigara.
Pombe na sigara amesema anaweza wachana. Unlike that other musician.
Yes.
So she held very high positions in very important companies here. So we're talking about Miss Catherine Maundu, company secretary, or formally now at this point, right? From BAT. And the other one, Inya Sigara. The other one is EABL.
Also, pombe.
Right. Resigning from those before in September. She also resigned as company secretary from Safaricom PLC. Maybe we can have a sidebar conversation on this one. What do you think? What do you think is happening with Miss Catherine? Speculations?
Well, probably she's gotten a better deal, and she's hot in the market, because if your company secretary is Safaricom, that's a big shot. If your company secretary BAT, that is British American Tobacco, and then a company secretary at the most leading alcohol seller, EBL.
Also, she was at the board of Deloitte, which is the consultancy company. So I think if she's resigned from all these positions, tunaweza bet. We see whether there is going to be an appointment that's going to be announced by President William Ruto very soon.
Yes.
But those are just our speculations. And Miss Catherine Maundu, we wish
her the best.
Just happens to be a very interesting individual.
On the record, we want to say we are really encouraged, because her serving in all those boards, she must be very good.
Right, at 44 years.
Yes,
right.
She must be very good.
All right. Something else. Someone was recognized over Mashujaa Day, but we begin with the commotion. Did you see the commotion that happened?
Yeah. It is very sad right away, because all this commotion was not supposed to happen, because we understand there must be a protocol team, Richard. And it clearly tells you that inside the government something is boiling, and something is not something. They are trying to play the cards on the table, but something is not happening. Yes.
Right. From class 3 dropout to leading business magnate. This is a man who was honored posthumously by Ruto on Mashujaa Day.
Yeah, President Ruto says we're celebrating a teach on incredible entrepreneur who exemplifies the bottom-up story. Now, it makes me worried this morning, Richard, because...
It makes you worried? I thought this is an encouraging story.
Because what are we going to tell our people back in the village? Should we drop out?
That's what they're saying here, that, sometimes it's not all about the certifications.
Yeah, that is a very, very dangerous statement.
Is it?
Whereby art and talent has not reached a level whereby we can say it satisfies the Kenyan economy. We simply rely on the certificate, right from primary level to the highest level of education. We have not reached it there as a country, Richard. So the president, him uttering words of glorification, especially from a man from his back door, it's really something that Kenyans should really look at, because so many kids today are struggling even to go to school because of lack of fees. So, and
given the new university funding model, it makes this a very interesting twist to if there is a narrative in that direction.
Yes.
We are not able to fund many students to go to school, but there's hope.
There's hope. You can go into business. You can because I agree, this is a business mogul. He's into hospitality. He's into different businesses that he ventured in as a Mzee. But the narrative that I hope that Mzee, the President William Ruto will say, he should be bringing hope to the people that regardless of how much you've suffered to go to school, there's still hope based on Mzee Rotich story. Mzee Rotich.
When the Deputy President says there are no jobs for youth, and we are aware of the statistics in terms of the employment rates, the job market, and what it looks like.
Yes.
And we have seen the new university funding model, which has locked out a lot of students from selecting a placement within university institutions. Shouldn't this be something we should celebrate and maybe encourage more people who are not able to make the cut to university, maybe pursue business?
One thing I want to give comrades hope, because yesterday a court case was filed at the High Court stopping the new funding model.
Right, and it's somewhere at the back of the Daily Nation.
Yes.
Right.
So because we clearly see that this cost is hurting the parents of comrades, because they're telling comrades that they cannot go to school. And Richard, we came here, we discussed that issue. It's a very sensitive and painful issue, because if the cost of education is going up, I recently saw Management University has they are soon to graduate, maybe this Friday. Graduation fee has gone from 3,000, currently it's at 7,000.
That's page 11.
That's page 11 of Daily Nation. So if the fees are growing by day, right from when you start to when you graduate, tell me, Richard, how many people are going to graduate in this instance?
Wanaongeza graduation fee ya nini exactly?
You understand?
Right.
So the graduation fee in the recent years was around 3,000. I'm being told for me to graduate, let me pay for 4,000 extra shillings.
Wanasema mafuta imepanda, kutransport gown ni pesa mingi sana. Saizi you have to add on a few coins on top
some of those gowns, Richard, we know the state. I not want to disclose them here.
Let's not go into the details of graduation.
Yes.
But there is hope, as you said, there for comrades. There is, education is a basic human right at this point, right?
As we speak, education is really important for growth. We recently saw, just to jump into the issue of our governor, Sakaja, he was taken to and fro because of his degree, the credibility of his degree, allegedly that he did not complete his degree at University of Nairobi. So naona hata maneno imemfuata pale UDA na mambo na forgery.
Right. We'll move from fake degrees to fake signatures in a bit. But the Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, is saying that the rush into the new funding model will be denying or will breach students' right to education. And they've filed a case here, petitioners who are asking that, or who are saying that the funding model as is being implemented is exclusive and is discriminating against students whose backgrounds are not covered. So it is estimated that about 21,814 students will fall under the vulnerable category, 23,000 extremely needy, and 26,000 needy, 84,000 less needy. So unless you're extremely needy, this new funding model is not going to cover all your tuition, which leaves a lot of these students hanging in the balance. So hopefully the courts get to take a look at this case, and comrades can get reprieve, even as they are struggling with various issues in matters of academics. Right. From fake degrees to fake signatures, and let's talk about UDA and Sakaja.
Sakaja is really on the... his issues are becoming more serious by the day.
Right.
Because allegedly, the UDA Secretary General received letters from MCAs of forgery of signatures. And he's being told that... and then the SG did a letter back to the National County Assembly of Nairobi, saying that there's a removal of minority leader and minority whip.
Right.
So a few days later, the SG recalls the letter and says that the letter that he did is null and void, but the issues will be discussed on this Thursday at their headquarters. Now it begs to question what's really happening to Sakaja's government,
right?
Because if the ticket and these guys from the minority side allegedly being funded by the deputy president to ouster the governor, it means there's a serious issues on the UDA party. The question is, I want to ask this morning, is Sakaja planning to go for deputy party leader, a second deputy party leader at UDA? Is that as a result of his wars with the MCS?
Right.
Are they planning to impeach him? So those are the questions that politically one would tend to think about Sakaja's issues with his allies.
When it comes to the leadership of the Nairobi county, even from President Uhuru Kenyatta's time, we've seen a tussle between the county government and the national government. And, previously, as was with Sonko, as was with Kidero, and then later on, of course, we had the Nairobi Metropolitan, which last week we discussed here, is also under fire for misappropriation of funds during the very short tenure that it was.
It is on record.
Transition.
It is on record that Kidero was never impeached. It is on record that Sonko was impeached, and it clearly tells you that the ruling party, UDA, and back then Sonko had an issue with the deputy governor that culminated to all his troubles. How he could have received advice from the party, his issues could have been sorted in a manner that is very courteous. The same thing that is happening today here, because precedent was set up that any governor can be impeached by members of county assembly. We've clearly seen that these wars have started in Meru with Kawera Mwangaza. It went to Kiambu. Now rain is coming to Nairobi.
Right.
Specifically, these counties are known to be UDA affiliated. So one wants to think, what is really happening in the UDA party?
Right. One MCA, Mark Ronaldo Mugambi, is quoted here to saying that senior government officials and senior members of the party have attempted to convince him to turn against the governor. And he will not disclose their names for now, but if they do not stop, he will out them. Promises of people being outed. Do we expect anything important from Mr. Mugambi?
Well,
Ronaldo.
We have to wait until Thursday, Richard, so that we can have that conversation.
What's happening on Thursday?
They're having a meeting at the UDA party, the MCAs of the county assemblies. However, what I can suspect, Sakaja might be fronted as a deputy party leader because elections are coming, come December, for this party.
Grassroots elections?
Yes.
Okay.
And he might be fronted as a second deputy party leader of UDA party. Yes, those are the allegedly grassroots conversation
that are going to happen there.
Yes.
UDA kicks Sakaja allies out of key posts in assembly. MCAs were reportedly unhappy with their leaders, and the ruling party has accused the officials of failing to unite members in the Nairobi county. This is a story on page 5 of the Daily Nation, the wars that are happening over in the county. Let's get back to page 3, which is an interesting story of the Rai family.
Yes.
The business empire, which has been in fierce court battles. One over the Mumias company, and others which they were kicked out of by President William Ruto, gave birth to the famous statement, Mambo ni Matatu, and which is now being trademarked by the president. Now here, we are seeing that the family of Rai is also now in a dispute over the ownership of the Rai Investment Limited after their two sons moved to court over alleged manipulation of shares in the company. Who's manipulating these shares? Is it still political?
Richard, I told you the other day, we are living in a very dangerous times whereby everything is politically instigated. On record, Rai is not new to the public. The current Rai, who is the chairman of the board,
Mr. Jan Swat.
Yes. So he's not new to the public face. He's been controlling the sugar industry sector for a long time. And we know that Indians or Hindus do their business legitimately or legitimized in other terms. But since he had an issue with Mumias because he had purchased highest number of shareholding in that company, it was not sitting well with President Ruto political ambition coming 2027. Because I said it earlier that Western region is commonly known for the sugar farming. And how do I, the people from the Western...
Talk to the sugar farmers.
Talk to the sugar farmers. We saw that there's a waiver that was done completely. There's no date for Mumias.
And this has been happening for a while. Yes.
So slowly by slowly,
So this is still political?
Yes, he's coming from the chairman of the board, and I assure you, he's not going to have the end of the president.
Right, the business empire of the Rai family. You can read about it here and get to share. Let us know if you share the same sentiments with Nick Mwadime here.
Yes.
And it's on page 3 of the Daily Nation.
On other serious issues,
right.
Richard, it's Happy Taxpayers Day.
Is it happy? Happy Taxpayers Day.
So I want to ask you,
happy is a stretch.
Are you happy?
Happy is a stretch. If we took a survey of Kenyans who are watching this show,
I know.
Did you know it is Happy Taxpayers Day?
I didn't know. And the sarcasm is, there's a photo here that people are really happy and doing a thumbs up like this.
News Focus page 21. Let me take a look at it real quick. So, a thumbs up. This can't be taxpayers.
Probably you're happy, Richard, and I don't know because where I'm seated, I have house levy that is waiting for me. NHIF is going to rise from 500 shilling to those who are paying 500 shillings a month to 1,000 shillings a month. So a rough estimate that compulsory bills that I have to pay, tax I have to pay, is around 2,400 in a month.
Mwesau NSSF, which moved to 1080.
I don't understand how people are happy.
Happy Taxpayers Day. The Kenya Revenue Authority is celebrating.
How people are happy.
They are celebrating the Taxpayers Day in Nakuru County.
Yes, I don't understand completely. Probably you let me know.
The happiness. If you're a happy taxpayer, please let us know. But you're getting amnesty, so maybe that's something happy we can share. That KRA to celebrate this day.
You need to ask yourself, Richard, how many people know amnesty?
Right? How many people even know today's Taxpayers Day?
How many people?
But you're getting amnesty, which will be ending in 31st of December.
Yeah.
So if you have any penalties and interest accrued for the period which ended last year, December, you can get the waiver from KRA.
Yes.
But they have sent agents, actually. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about door-to-door agents.
Door-to-door agents.
Right, by KRA, just for compliance. It's nothing to worry about. Just to ensure that you know the process. Yani wanakusaidia.
You know, something funny is compliance is a soft word, but the real issue is they ask you, how old are you? Do you have a career paid?
And that's all they want to know.
Yes, so matters on the ground are really tense and serious and very technical, Richard.
Right.
Final story. Kuwait government to donate over 1 billion for Nyamira schools facelift. I was just reading this story. I was just remembering my good friend Richard. I've never heard him with a Kisii accent.
You might hear it from time to time hapa.
So, naona pale Nyamira mmepatiwa, you guys have been given 1 billion. So I don't know what you guys are going to do with 1 billion to facelift schools. You have amazing English. So probably the 1 billion is going to come in handy. We're going to help people from your community to speak excellently as you are speaking.
This is personal now. This is very personal. However, this is an interesting story. I have to clarify though. I'm a citizen of Kisii County.
Okay, so Richard.
My governor Arati, sitaki angalia isho aseme nimemtoka kwa sababu najua we might have a few things to do in the future. But I'm a man of Simba Arati. However, Nyamira County is receiving over 1 billion.
Yeah, Richard. And
let's talk about the figures, Nick.
Yes.
Over 1 billion Kenyan shillings.
It makes me worry. Are we going to have another Uasin Gishu scandal?
Oh, wow.
Because these are matters of education, very serious issues.
Right. 68 schools which are going to be given this amount of money from Kuwait to balance out and to do a facelift on various facilities, laboratory blocks, administration blocks, latrines, dormitory facilities, and all of these others which are good for education and for these students. It's funny and ironical that at this point, when we hear these amounts of figures, you hear 1 billion Kenyan shillings has been given to Nyamira County. The first reaction from a Kenyan is not excitement. Or at least as far as we are concerned on this set.
It's not
excitement that, oh wow, we have 1 billion. Your first statement was it's
a matter of concern.
It's a matter of concern to you.
Yes.
Why can't we celebrate these figures?
Let us look 5 years from now, Richard, and me and you are going to have this conversation. Where will Nyamira schools be in terms of education? Are we going to have more universities? Are we going to have better schools? Are we going to have better libraries for people of Nyamira? Or is it going to be another shambolic game whereby we cannot explain where the money go?
It's unaccounted for.
Where it went, what it has been done for, and what they are planning to do it.
Right.
Anyway,
we'll be looking at what Kenya got from China in a bit, because President William Ruto was invited there for the Road and Bridge Network Forum.
Yes.
He got a few things here and there. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said we will be looking forward to getting 150 billion Kenyan shillings from China. President William Ruto akirudi akasema sisi si madeni.
Yes.
There are also this, various contradicting statements from government officials, which you have to put into perspective here.
Speaking of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, he gave a press notice that he'll be traveling to, I think it's Poland. So my good friend Desmond tweeted yesterday and said, I hope he has been briefed that there are no polar bears in
there are no polar bears in Kenya. Asiende kuuza pale false hope za tigers. What are polar bears in Kikuyu? Because you're saying that, Kikuyu, tigers and lions are the same thing.
That's a very tricky man, because he got himself in a very tricky situation, telling the people that there are tigers in Kenya. So he's inviting tourists to see lions rather than tigers.
Right. But if he has to say we have bears, I was just looking up in a few minutes ago here.
Yes.
We do actually have we have a bear in Kenya, the
Really?
one and only one in Africa.
Didn't know that.
The only bear in Africa, which is at now should be 20 years old by now, because the information is that it was 1 year old in 2003.
Yes.
So we have the only bear in Africa, and you can get to visit the Oljogi Conservancy and get to see this.
On a later note, Richard, I really hope these are not stories from River Road.
These are legitimate stories. You can ask Turu Travels, who is one of those businesses that are taking Kenyans to
Kenya. Kenyans are very creative.
Bear Kenya.
I was reading a story the other day. A man dressed up like a gorilla, and the other one dressed up like a lion. So they went abroad. So the gorilla was really doing his thing, Yeah, the gorilla guy. So tourists are thinking this is a gorilla. So the man in the lion suit now decided to go after the gorilla. So the gorilla was running in circle. So the man now in the gorilla suit was really terrified. So when the lion pounced on the gorilla, and the guy in the gorilla suit shouting, "Help, help, help!" So the guy in the lion suit told the guy, "Kinuthia, ni mimi bana, wacha utaribu biashara."
Comical break there. As you get to see, you can beat me here. We've talked about education a lot. I hope kuna a wildlife question there.
Yes.
But since education is a right for everyone, Nick, did you beat me last time?
Yes, I've always been beating you, Richard. And at least the other time you guys gave me a worthy competitor. Yes.
Oh, so you're saying I'm an unworthy competitor?
Please, I said you guys gave me.
No, I always take a look at what you don't say, because that's exactly what you are saying is what you don't say. Do you have with you?
No, I don't have a pen.
Let me hand you this.
Thank you.
As we begin.
Yes.
Let's queue up the questions, and then we'll get to see what our answers are. So if you're at home, we have a brain teaser for you, and then we'll get back to a few of the stories ambazo ziko bado left on the headlines. So we're going to have 10 questions as always. Answer as fast as you can. Every question is 5 seconds. There's going to be a timer on your screens, and then we'll mark against each other with Nick here, public, live on air, and Daf Kauko home. You can also let us know what your score is. But then here we begin. The question number 1. The coat of arms of Kenya features 2 spears. What do they symbolize? All right. Question number 2. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Who painted the Mona Lisa? It's not Ruga. All right. Question number 3. Here we go. Question number 3 is who won Business Influencer of the Year on Pulse Kenya Influencer Awards of 2023?
Today's question, Richard.
This is going to be this we have to talk about when the time comes.
I don't know what the producer is planning with us.
Tough.
Mpaka mahali nimefika.
Lakini okay, let's just finish the question, then I'll tell you something here. Who formulated the theory of relativity?
Can't remember.
Lakini pia usini distraction ndio ibe exam. Unajua? Tunawajua ni cunning students. Question number 5, who was the first cabinet secretary for Treasury, Finance and Economic Planning? The first CS for Treasury. Leo nisipokupiga. Hakuna siku.
Today I see the goals are on your side.
The second line in the first stanza of the East African anthem, Omenipata stance.
Me and you both.
The second line in the first stanza of the East African anthem. All right, question number 7. It was, what is the elaboration of EPRA? EPRA in full. Next question here. Which animal is featured in the new 1 shilling coin? Okay, real quick. Just give me. Okay, I don't operate with those currencies. So, mimi mtu wa thao na mbele. Thao na Bitcoin. What is GPA in full? GPA in full. GPA yangu ilikuwa mbaya, so I can't even tell you. Oh man. Last question here. What is the capital city of Zambia? What is the capital city of Zambia? Hey, Yako. Hey. GPA wallahi. What is GPA in full? Can I say 80? Or is that my GPA just okay? Let's swap. Oh man, it has to be this. This has to be the answer. Anyway, let's go. The answers. The coat of arms of Kenya features 2 spears. What do they symbolize? What is the answer? My director and producer. Here, Nick ameandika shield is defense. Ameandika nini hapo?
Shield protection.
Shield protection. What do they represent? What do they symbolize? Answers. My director, producer. Right. Shield and defending. So we got it all. Question number 2. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Ulikuwa umeandika Picasso, ukavuta. Ukaandika Leonardo. Umeandika Leonard lakini. Cha tukapatie tu. Leonardo da Vinci. That's his face. All right. Question number 3. Who won Business Influencer of the Year on the Pulse Kenya Influencer Awards of 2023? Who won the Business Influencer of the Year? Maureen Bandari. That's information. I'm receiving information from my director. So if you're at home, please follow along. Maureen Bandari won Business Influencer of the Year. What to a Pulse? Okay, I'll talk about that later. Question number 4. Who formulated the theory of relativity?
Supposed to be okay.
Albert Einstein.
You got it.
Umeandika Henry Rotich.
That was supposed to be question 5.
Oh, that's for the different. Oh, okay. That's for the next question. Albert Einstein, not Henry Rotich. Henry Rotich, nothing at a special theory. Okay. Who was the first cabinet secretary for Treasury? And then that's when we have Henry Rotich. Next question. That's not the answer? Oh, wow. Who was the first CS for Treasury? Apparently, it's not Henry Rotich. The first CS for Treasury during President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Supposed to be Henry
What is the
Rotich.
answer? First cabinet secretary is Henry Rotich.
Yes.
That was the first time cabinet secretary was the title for that ministry, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Henry Rotich. But apparently the first question was the first minister.
No, they
for
said
finance, but they said we are very good students.
Yes.
Yeah, so tumepata, si ndio?
Yes.
Who was the first minister though? Let's know. The first minister was James Gishuru for finance back then.
James Gishuru.
So kama uko home umepata half a mark if you wrote Gishuru.
Yes.
That you knew.
Yeah, that I knew.
All right. You'd say that of course after the
He
exam.
was the chairman of
Okay.
the first chairman of COW.
All right.
Yes.
Since already you knew it. Let us know what is the second line in the first stanza.
no, that
of the East African anthem.
That I did not know.
What is the first line of this?
I didn't even know the national.
It is in Swahili, right?
Yes.
So Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki. That's the second line. Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki. Literally the East African. East Africa. All right. What is the elaboration of EPRA? The Energy, Petroleum, and Regulatory Authority. I got it and you got half. I'll just give you half. You know why? Yeah. You won't say it on air. Energy, na umekuwa sad. What's up? Scores zinaenda kwa mbaya.
No. Maneno iko mzuri.
Which animal is featured in the new 1 shilling?
I didn't even
shilingi.
I didn't hear that question. It went too fast. Yeah.
All right. Let us know before we give the answer.
There's an elephant and yes,
the 1 shilling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the answer to the 1 shilling? Giraffe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Please put a very long tick, just as long as a giraffe. Number 9. What is GPA in full? Grade point average. I'll give you half because you're almost there, but I wasn't. So, grade point average.
In where I do my masters, it's grade progressive aggregate.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So I don't know if we should give you a full mark because you've just given us a flex there.
You saw it.
Interesting flex, but okay. You're doing your masters?
Yes, I'm doing my masters in data science and analytics.
All right.
Yeah.
It's what are they calling it?
Grade progressive aggregate.
Okay, I'll give it to you, man. You're the only masters guy here, so utaniekelea useme watu undergrad. Final question. What is the capital city of Zambia? That is Lusaka.
Yeah,
Lusaka, Zambia. Niambie umepata ngapi leo kabla nikwambie wewe yako.
3, 4,
and if you're at home also,
5,
let us know what you got. What did I have there?
7.
Sema watu wasikie nini?
7.
7 out of 10 here.
Yes.
We have, do I say yours?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Not bad.
7. I have 2 halves.
No.
6 and a half.
No. 5 and a half actually. So I gave you 6. It's 5 and a half. Actually, your story in 5 and a half.
I see you, Richard.
I beat you this time, man. I'm so happy. You have no idea. I've been losing for the past 3 games consecutively,
good one, yes.
and now we have a change.
Probably for you to allow me in the next show, you had to win.
So you just you played it.
Yeah, you have to play. 48 powers of law. You cannot go ahead of your master.
I'll take it. If you're at home, let us know what your score is. But thank you for playing that game with us.
Yeah.
Let's finally, maybe as we are still in the laughing mode and having a good time here, let's look at the caricature by Dula. Kuna katuni ya Dula hapa imenifurahisha sana. But the Daily Nation page 17.
I remember. Daily Nation page 17.
El Nino ama El Nino. El Minimo. That's what I was calling it earlier.
I saw... is it a meme whereby the president is saying, we really thank God. We reported there will be an El Nino. Now there's drought.
But then thank God, man. Thank God the scientists are wrong. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, so I was really, it was funny, but I was really sad.
Yeah.
Why are we really thanking God? And Kenyans are expecting rain in real sense. And
my question there was, before you even move to the next point, is why then do we have scientists?
Yes.
Why do we have the Met department? We could just rely on our own intuition and our relationship with God and our connection with the heavens.
The president really likes to flex because he has a PhD and he's a president, he's a minister of finance, he's a minister of education. He's
the minister of the word of God.
So right now he's also the minister of climate.
Right. So they're showing a picture of him, or no, it's not a picture of him.
Yeah,
it's a drawing.
Editorial cartoon.
Yes, editorial cartoon here.
Yes.
Of him and likeness of him. Let me say the likeness of him. I have to tread carefully here. The likeness of President William Ruto and the likeness of DP Rigathi Gachagua in a boat El Nino preparedness is the name of the boat. Wameshikilia umbrella. Wamesema few. They're on an island, it seems.
On top of a rock.
On top of a rock. And they're tied to an ark.
Yes, with a yellow umbrella.
So it's like Noah told us to prepare for, the floods, and then it doesn't happen. I said, thank God, we are not going to use that ark anymore.
And apparently, we know who the Noah is.
All right. Should we say who it is?
Yes.
For me, the translation or the what I take from the
editorial
representation in the editorial picture here. As the ark represents preparedness across the county, right?
Yes.
We have boats in Nairobi County. We have money that was dispersed to the counties. We have, different task forces, different committees to, El Nino committees here and there. So what happens to the ark? If Noah tells us we are not going to board the ark, where does the ark go? Hizo mbao za ark zinaenda wapi? Pesa
where is the money going? That's a really interesting question, Richard.
Yeah.
That Kenyans are asking.
Right.
We need to tell Kenyans how they're going to survive in terms of such crisis.
Right.
How the food prices are going to go down. Because if there's going to be El Nino, definitely there's going to be a crisis of food.
Right.
So how are Kenyans going to survive in terms of such crisis?
All right.
Yes.
One other story. But we have to state here that scientists are yet to agree with the president. The Kenya Met hasn't given out their statement.
Yes.
However, a few experts are saying if you see the sun outside in Nairobi, it doesn't mean there's no El Nino. El Nino will be there in different parts, just maybe not like 1997.
Yes.
So please do prepare yourself. Yeah, don't throw caution to the wind.
Yes.
Or throw caution to. Will there be wind in El Nino? To the storm, I guess. More pain at the pump looms if Neil Levy gets nod. One other person is getting FOMO. Yeah? FOMO is the fear of missing out. Yeah. So KRA wanataka tax. The president once he's here, another one once he's there, and the Kenya Roads Board feels like they're being left out.
Yeah.
The new wave of taxes.
Their cut.
Yeah, they're saying since tumekuwa 18 shillings for so long, please take us to 23 bob. Let's get a cut also in this tax frenzy that's hitting the nation.
All these agencies represent the government. So one wants to think, why should we have different taxes at different government agencies?
Right.
Yes. Kenyans are struggling to get that coin. And I think what the Daily Nation reads today, more pain at the pump looms. So it means there's going to be more additional cost of fuel.
Right.
Yes.
And we know Israel and Hamas is also happening.
Yes.
Crude oil prices have gone up 10%.
Yes.
We are expecting that importation will be affected. So, more pain is an appropriate statement.
As we speak, Richard, also on a sad note, we have lost over 23 journalists at the war. So it's a very emotional and sensitive issue. Also to give tribute to all those journalists that may have lost their life and the families of those journalists to cover and try to cover those stories of Israel and Pakistan.
Right. For all those journalists, of course, me being a part of the media, a very huge word of condolence to them, their family members, and for all those who are still continuing to cover these important stories which are happening within our society. It's a very sad story. Regards of the war, regards of what is happening, regards of political affiliations and all of that, they are very serious and they are very real lives which are being affected.
I saw one of the journalists carrying 2 kids on his hand.
Right.
I think they were twins. One was really bleeding, and the other one had broken the leg. So it's a sad situation. It's a sad image to think of. And I beseech those countries, please, at the end of the day, let us try and remember that human life really matters.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully they get to hear us because they know that. I bet they do know that, right? Last thing before I hope we don't finish on a very sad note there. The Business Daily, I want you to give us 2 statements and then we'll finish with a quote.
Yes.
But the story that is there, it's what Kenya needs to do in farming up the economy. Nick, what do you think Kenya needs to do in farming up the economy? What can we do to bring some positive light into the current economic crisis we are facing?
Richard, I will tell you something about Kenyans. we came out from COVID. Business are struggling, but Kenyans are waking up every single morning to make sure there's food on the table, making sure that their children go to school, they have a meal, and they can at least afford to go and have a shelter. So I have to give it to Kenyans, me and you, Richard, that we wake up each and every day having hope that tomorrow is going to be better. Yes.
Yeah, moment of silence for that. Read us the quote at the back
before
of the business.
Before I read the quote, Richard, allow me to actually invite you. At Mkusa, we have Mkusa Steve Chege Day happening at Maina Village, Nyahururu, from 10th, 11th, and 12th. I want to invite KUTV as well, and all comrades to participate in this event. Steve Chege was our founding chairman, who passed last year. Right. So we want to commemorate his achievement here at Mkusa.
All right.
And then finally,
condolences to you, by the way, and the whole family.
Yeah, he was vying like Laikipia senator. Last year he became number 2. Right. So he had a huge future.
Right.
So this November, we're going to really champion for our leader.
All right.
And then finally, also to give a huge shout out to my sister. She's graduating this Friday, and say congratulations.
Congratulations.
So quote last word. The urge to save humanity is almost always only a false face of the urge to rule it.
Oh wow,
that's deep.
That's deep.
That's deep.
That's really deep. We have to get it again. It's too deep.
The urge to save humanity is almost always only a false face for the urge to rule it.
Who said that?
H.L. Mencken.
Who was he?
American journalist, essayist, satirist, cultural critic, and scholar.
That's a journalist there.
That's a journalist, Richard. That's a journalist.
The urge to save the world.
The urge to save humanity.
The urge to save humanity.
Not the world, humanity. Is almost always only a false face for the urge to rule it. Richard, if you say more than that, we are going to spoil it.
I'm not going to say anything. Thank you very much, Nick, for creating time.
Yes, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
Hope we can do this more and more.
More and more?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Definitely.
Yes.
Going for a short break, coming back to see what your feedback is looking like. More comments are coming in here, and then I will be telling you of what direction the week is heading to. Don't go too far.
Bajuka ni kama unarusha mikono tingisha kichwa chungu usivunje kisogo.
Mbona nyinyi na wawasha nkikula nyama choma tu firifiri na
niko na pesa kushinda babako. Kasikia vibaya uko kwenye kasikia vibaya.
I want to flex my love.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we are losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in. And that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found. Because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Imefika. Very interesting and exciting segment we just had with Sanik Mwadime Mwangi. We've taken a look at various stories here. Amenibanta pole pole pale ni sawa tu. Nyamira County, please make sure you use that 1 billion from Kuwait properly so that I'm not at the harsh end of these conversations when I come back here on the show. But read for yourself. More stories are there at the midsection of The Nation is where you get also some of that news focus, and that is from all over the counties. A lot of developments that are relevant to you on the ground. Get to see what your county is doing that is going to be relevant for you. Workers as well. Kotu has a statement for you, championing workers' rights in the Sub-Saharan Unionists. So you can get to read that in the My Government. MyGovernment. It's a weekly print by the Daily Nation and comes here on Tuesdays. You can also get to read more on the Business Daily, which is a focus of business for the next few days. Members of Parliament are also planning to regulate bank loans. We know that now there is going to be a very huge effect in the interest rates, according to the CBK, into banks, and then bank-to-bank dollar exchange rate as well, even with the new rate that is there hitting the exchange rate between the Kenyan shilling and the dollar. So members of Parliament here are planning to have a financial market watchdog, and they're going to establish, or they're proposing to establish, two of these watchdogs, the Financial Sector Ombudsman and the Financial Sector Tribunal. So read more of these very relevant stories to you, and also happy National Taxpayers Day from the Kenya Revenue Authority. For those who are tuning into the show, I'm very glad that you created time. So maybe just mentioning a few of you guys who are online from Twitter. I see Tash Mitambo saying, looking good, bossman. Asante sana Tash Mitambo. I try what I can do best, and I do it in the best of my ability. Ojwang Mariam also watching the show. Asante sana. Salimia watu wa UK, United the K, he knows. So he comes from the UK, which is just very close to KU. And thank you for creating time for us. Ian Duncans, watching from Juja. Asante sana as well. Sabonfes Otieno, also watching the show. Tony Mushiri, Tech Bro, na watch show pale, enjoying, of course, the conversations that are happening here. Remy Harrington, Remy Harrington saying we check his profile. We will be checking it shortly and see what you have to say, of course, to us here this morning. Also on Facebook or on YouTube, where we were streaming live. Here we see Engineer Francis Maina. Mr. Moneyman, looking forward to a brilliant show. This was way earlier. Of course, we have had quite a show here, watching from Kayole, 1960. Jilo Mamu, great show as always. It never disappoints. Kudos. Masi Kamau, saying great show. You've also been following. Blessed Kimoni, also watching from the UK, which is next to KU. Blessed Kimoni, I'm sure also they're enjoying it alongside Ojuang Mariam. Thank you for tuning in to the show. That has been as much as we could bring into you here to you from Biashara Tuesday on KU TV Rise Today. There's a whole team that prepares this for you every Monday and Tuesday. So from them to you, we are very happy and very grateful that you do create time, from my producer and director Ryan Ngure to the transmission desk, where we have engineer